This channel is for immature audiences only. It is not for children, only for childish adults. We might play some video games that kids also like, but we say words like fuck and shit with alarming frequency and make crude, inappropriate, and morbid jokes all the damn time. Level 0 NPCs assumes no responsibility if your idiot spawn watches this and gets traumatized.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the mailbag. I hope you had a good time waiting for us. I hope you did something productive, and if you didn't, I hope you at least had some fun.
Yeah. You know what else we haven't done yet is to warm up the soundboard.
Oh, warm up the
course.
things. Warm up the things. Yeah.
I'm just gonna get this thing started.
The existential horror of the buffering speakeasy video.
Yeah. I don't like how that voodoo mask is positioned over Julia's mouth in that one scene there. Oh, yeah, that's unpleasant. Now let's fire up the next one.
Pretty rough.
Oh.
There we go.
What about the dancing guys? Might as well do the dancing guys.
Then we'll get the dancing guys, okay? Yep.
Yeah.
And the Gabriel Knight Connection.
Yeah, I think that is on Alt 8. Nope, that's for Gory.
That's questions.
There it is. Well, that one came out just fine.
That one's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
God, that's beautiful.
Speaking of Knestions for Gabriel Knight.
Yeah. Do we
We
want to
had
do
one.
that? Do we want to do that first, or do we want to do the Speakeasy
Wanna start
Passwords?
with our Knestion or Speakeasy Passwords? I feel like we've gone pretty long on some Speakeasy Passwords before.
Let's do all the stuff that we committed to do for starters, and then we can just spend the rest of the episode just full-time fucking around.
Nice. I mean, that's kind of how it always works out. But yes.
All right.
Okay.
Let's
Speakeasy
do
Password first?
Let's do the Speakeasy Passwords. Do the things everybody's looking forward to the least. For many reasons, not the least of which is this title sequence. Hey everybody!
You're wrong. I love the Speakeasy Password.
Oh yeah. It's the bee's knees. Hey, what's up everybody? It's the fucking Speakeasy Password. I hope you're ready.
It really is.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have
4 Speakeasy Passwords.
The fourth one is a repeat, so I'm not going to read that.
No.
What is up?
Just what is it out of curiosity?
Not all those who wander are lost. We've got that one.
Oh yeah, it's
For
like
sure.
a Tolkien
For
quote
sure.
or whatever.
Yeah. All right. Our first Speakeasy Password. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was petting my cat. I had to reach.
A teacher is better than 2 books.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
A teacher
I mean,
is better than 2 books.
depends on the books and the teacher. Come on.
Yeah.
It also implies that the teacher is not better than 1 book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to phrase it because they are saying that what they mean is to say a teacher is twice as good as a book.
Yes.
But instead they've placed an exact value on a teacher in books that is embarrassingly small.
Yeah.
Because a good teacher really ought to be worth 100 books or 1,000 books.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why the fuck are you talking to them? You mean to say I can skip any educational pursuit with the use of 2 books?
3 books. 3 books.
3 books, yeah. 3 books will be better than any teacher?
Any teacher.
Complicatedly insane.
A teacher is better than 2 books.
And there are also teachers who are not as good as 2 books.
I guess a teacher's better than 2 books. The teacher might also be better than 10 books. But this password is not stating that with confidence.
No. And it's not saying at least 2 books. It's exactly 2 books. So
I've had teachers that weren't worth 1 book, and I've read books that weren't worth any teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like that one. It's dumb.
We all agree, I think, for the first time. Is anyone on the side of this expression? Does anyone
No.
like this either as a password or as advice?
As a statement? No,
Not at all.
not a fan.
It's not the worst
feeling
password we've had.
No, as a password,
You know
it's
what?
fine.
As a password, it works.
It's not
It's
it's
just-
not too long, and it's such an insane
just
thing to
wrong.
say. Yeah.
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 It's not something that should come up in conversation.
Mm-mm.
So you're not mistakenly going to give someone a password.
But
Also, if you're not listening to 2 people talking, you might mistake this for a thing that came
Exactly.
up as one of those things
Exactly.
that people say.
It's not going to
Yeah.
come up organically, but it's not crazy enough that someone is going to go like, "What the fuck do you mean?" It's just crazy enough that if
Yeah.
you think about it for a minute, you're like, "Hold on, but who's going to do that? No one's going to do that."
A teacher is worth 2 books? Was that it, or is it better than that? I can't remember now.
A
My
teacher
brain wants to
is-
scrub it so hard for my... Yeah, go on.
a teacher is better
Okay.
than 2 books. Exactly.
Any 2 books, any teacher. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A teacher
Amazing.
is better than 2 books.
I had no idea.
What a fucking weird way to say that, too.
You read Name of the Wind and 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, and you're set. You get your GED.
No, because the teacher's still better than 2,
Yeah.
which means that 3 in your set.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Read The Little Prince and you're all set.
Done.
Hop on pop.
But then just keep in mind, you're only better than 1 teacher at that point.
Yeah, it's true.
Sure. You might need half a dozen books in there.
Yeah.
Every 2 and a fraction books is worth an additional teacher.
All right, so that one's let's shoot
So
that one
9
and forget
books
that
is
one.
4 teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that don't make no
9 books is
sense.
4 teachers. Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. Let's
Yeah, well,
Also-
Also,
that
in those examples, you have far more to learn from 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish than you do from Name of the Wind.
yes.
There's
Boy, is that true.
Name of the Wind contains no information.
Does
It's-
it not even
it's-
contain the name of the wind?
And decisively no, it does not.
No, it doesn't.
Well, I
It does.
feel like that's the whole point of the book, isn't it?
I've read books I hated more than Name of the Wind, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not, there's there's truly nothing to be learned from reading it.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a wacky one.
You might be entertained by it, but I promise you will not be enriched by it. You actually might walk away a slightly worse person.
I was about to say you might learn wrong things from it.
Yes.
Oh,
you
you
might-
absolutely will.
Yes.
Um,
It won't, it will give you bad examples of how to be and what to do, for sure.
100%. Yeah. Okay. So
Both
let's.
from Name of the Wind was the least likable protagonist I'd ever read until I read Stephen King's time travel one, 11/22, 60 whatever.
That's a hot take. That's a
That
hot
guy is the most contemptible protagonist I've ever read in any book.
Hmm.
take. We're gonna have to circle back to that one for sure. You make some very good points about it. The problem is his heart is generally in the right place. You know.
Kvothe at least has the
Protagonist in
excuse
the
of being a literal child.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Next speakeasy password. I may walk slowly, but never backwards.
Ah,
Now, This is a great password. I may walk slowly, but never backwards.
It
Now,
sounds like
I
a riddle.
don't know as a statement if it's any good, but as a password, I like it.
Yeah,
It's
I
very-
actually it sounds almost like spy lingo. I'll give you
It's
that.
yes, it's
Mhm,
very fat
mhm.
man walks alone. You know,
There's an espionage quality to it that has an undeniable appeal. Obviously, just to get it out of the way, in the literal sense, don't. If you parse it literally, sometimes you simply must walk backwards.
Yes.
When you do so with care. A couple times recently, I nearly backed up into someone, or like I think I backed up once and nearly stepped down a stairwell. It's dangerous, right? You do sometimes just have to step backwards out of the way.
no. See, what I like about this is it's not you may walk slowly but never
I.
backwards. It's
Yeah.
I do that. That is a
Yeah.
statement on me. That is
I'm actually
something
with
I
you.
do. And as soon as you say that, I mean, what can I say to that? Okay,
Yes.
It becomes instantly forgivable.
it's instantly
you can't
forgivable.
argue with it.
Like I can't
Yeah,
argue with it.
Yeah.
If you operate on like weird tank controls where you have to turn 180 degrees and walk in that direction, like a fucking Roomba, sure, that's fine.
Also, I know what they're trying to say. You know, I may get
It's
to
a metaphor.
where. Yeah, it's a metaphor. I may get to where I'm going slowly, but I don't ever fucking take steps back. If so, I understand what they're saying.
Yeah,
I don't
the
hate
spirit
this.
the spirit of what they are saying is not the worst for sure.
Yeah. And again, what I think our problem with a lot of these passwords is they're general statements on the world. This one is not. This one
Yeah.
is this one is just, you know, a personal philosophy. And I can't fault that.
Yeah, you were right to call out the espionage sounding nature of it. I also really do like that it's an I statement.
Yes. 100%. I think that's what makes a good password.
Huh.
I do.
It-
I think having
and
an I
also,
statement
like,
is good.
As a personal philosophy, I don't hate it. The idea that you can move as slowly as you want as long as you're moving forward. It's not the worst advice. I don't necessarily know that, philosophically speaking, there's never an appropriate time to backtrack and reconsider. But I
for
guess even in those circumstances, that would count as forward progress because
Yeah.
you're moving in the correct direction.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I think you're less likely to backtrack if you take your time and move slowly.
Yeah. It's reasonable.
It's reasonable, even if it's not. You could pick it apart. You know, I mean, obviously, like pedantically, as we are wont to do on this channel, we will do that. But like in general, I don't have much of a problem with that.
This is an extremely obscure reference. I think maybe Luke was there, but in one of our D&D sessions, we discussed the 4 cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, and the 2 philosophical directions that are kimst and schlemst, which were the correct direction and the incorrect direction. So they're just like subtle and like esoteric and unknowable.
Yeah, but you could say that going east is kimst.
Yes. But like the idea of a compass that instead of pointing north, it pointed kimst, and then wherever the needle wasn't pointing was schlemst, and you would therefore know that was the wrong way to go.
Absolutely, it's great. All right, that's great.
Great,
Let's go
sure.
to
I may walk slowly, kimst, but never schlemst.
but never schlemst. But never schlemst. All right, Julia, I didn't. What do you have to say about this?
Well,
I didn't,
yeah, like you said, it's really kind of hard to argue if it's an I statement, because if that works for that person, then who am I to say otherwise? But if it was directed in a way as to be trying to impart wisdom upon us or give us advice, then I think I don't think it's that great. But hey, if this works for you, then by all means, you don't walk backwards. You don't walk backwards. I don't know.
That's why, like, I think we need to give this one props alone for the I statement. Like I do.
Yeah.
I think it's not a grand sweeping statement on what everybody should do or the way things are or a philosophy like this next one is.
Julie and I share an aversion, I think, to absolute statements.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will absolutely state that I have an aversion for such a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate 100% of all absolute statements.
Exactly. All generalizations are bad.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
All generalizations are bad is like the for sale baby shoes never worn of like fucking tautologies. That's very well done.
Well, I didn't. It's not mine. I stole it from somewhere. I can't remember where. Yeah.
I've heard it as all generalizations are false, but yeah.
Okay. Next speakeasy password. Yeah, there we go. Happiness is not by chance, but by choice.
Ah!
Happiness is not by chance, but by choice.
Tell me more about the immense privilege you were born into, you son of a bitch.
I knew you guys were going to love this one. I'll read it again. Happiness is not by chance, but by choice.
Come find me in person and I will give you some new reasons to be happy.
Grateful.
Let's see you choose happiness when I am done with you, motherfucker.
Oh God.
Remember,
allow me to instruct you.
Happiness is not by chance, but by choice. So
in seriousness, a quality of most of the truly good people I know is the capacity to see good in the world around them. There is an extent to which you do find what you look for, and I don't mean that in any kind of metaphysical kind of manifesting way. It's a matter of observation, right? A thing that's been very good for my mental health is going to the park and bird watching and just being in the moment, listening for a very small sound, hearing a hairy woodpecker, and then calmly walking through the woods until I see it, right? Like, that's a learned thing. You can learn the names of birds and the sounds that they make, and in so doing, find that joy. And you can live your whole life never doing that.
That's the worst part about this one, is that there is a small grain of truth in it, but it is definitely shitty to make it a grand sweeping statement on happiness itself. It is so terribly wrong.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs is not any kind of accurate, laudable, or contemporary philosophy, but it makes a good point in that you have animal needs that must be met, right? And there are people who do aspire to kindness and goodness and happiness even in adverse circumstances. But like fundamentally, there are many people who just do not have the ingredients in their life to do anything other than survive the day or even the moment. And expecting that person to choose happiness is fucking monstrous.
Yeah, don't say that to anybody ever. That's evil.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
Trying to look for the good things and in their absence trying to be the good things is a laudable exercise when you find yourself with the time and energy to invest in that.
Yeah, and trying to have a practice of gratefulness and trying to cultivate gratefulness for little like the birds and all these other small things that make life nice.
Absolutely, to be thankful for the things that you have and the opportunities that you've had, and for the things that you've survived and stuff like that. Like that's a good outlook. And I find in particular, like if I'm in a very bad way, it will help me to reach out to a friend and ask how they're doing.
Yeah.
I sort of believe that looking for the good things actually does help you on a weird metaphysical level. It's the difference between Alex and I. But I also believe that you should never say happiness is not chance by choice to someone who's got fucking clinical depression and has a fucking chemical imbalance that they would choose every day to be happy if they could.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fucking horrible thing.
Or someone experiencing grief and loss.
Yes. There is literally like there is sometimes like happiness means nothing if it's all the time. It's not happiness anymore, you know. Just fucking
Yeah.
I hate this one. I think we all hate this one. Does
Yeah, here
anyone
we
like
go
this?
again.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that I like it. I think one redeeming quality of it is the sort of first half of it, the assertion that, you know, happiness is not by chance. You know, I'm not even going to say like I don't like it necessarily as an absolutism. I think absolutisms are not useful, generally speaking. But saying that, like, you know, saying that in order to say, like, it's not just going to happen, or it's less likely to just happen unless you're seeking it out, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I feel like the thrust, the spirit of the statement is meant to convey. I don't think it conveys it particularly well, but I do think that there's some value in that part of it.
A sentiment, too, of making your own luck.
Yeah.
Sure.
Instead of just waiting for a miracle to happen.
You have
Appreciate miracles happen every day, and being on the lookout for them and being appreciative of them will sort of help you see those.
Also
sort of
like
clarify. Go ahead.
Please
sorry.
go ahead. Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, to partly clarify something Matt said just now. Matt believes that looking for the good things helps you in a metaphysical way. I think it just helps you in a regular way. So we mostly agree.
Yeah. Absolutely. We mostly agree. Like
we mostly agree.
Yeah.
We disagree about the mechanism by which it helps you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's helpful. I also don't think it's a character flaw if you can't do that for any reason.
No, not at all.
Like, I think that's that's so shitty. So shitty.
Sorry, what were you saying there, Luke?
What I was going to clarify is, you know, sometimes happiness does catch you by surprise, or sometimes happiness is just entirely an accident. So I don't think that, I think the statement falls down in that way, but it's more likely that you're going to find happiness if you're looking for it.
Yeah. And you'll be most likely to notice those little miracles, right? Those like surprising things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I like the I like what I interpret the spirit of the statement to be.
Yeah.
At least for the first half.
I mean,
what was the second half? It was like
no, happiness
it's
is
not by
by
chance, it is
but
by choice.
Yeah.
Right. I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's great.
Yeah, so I think the winner this week is A Teacher's Better Than Two Books. I mean, I may walk slowly, but never backwards. Yeah. Nice. Well, let's shoot that in the head for another week. Speakeasy Password done.
Nicely done.
I feel really good because I'm reading these, and so I'm alt-tabbed out of Discord when you play that, so I don't get to see it. And it's awesome.
You looking at Discord right now?
Not now. Nope. Nope.
A Teacher is Better Than Two Books is so transparently nonsensical. It reminds me of a real life password call and response that I heard one time, where the question was, what's the difference between a stove? And the answer was, the more you polish, it gets.
Nice.
And they're not sensical things. It's just, it sounds like if you're not listening, it will sound like two people are talking, but there's actually no sense in them.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me of back when I was a kid, there was this series of board games for children. I don't remember what the whole sort of group of them, the title of them as a group was, but basically like there were 4 board games, and they sort of concern themselves with the sort of battle between these trolls and these things called squigglies. And typically you were on the side of the squigglies. The trolls were the bad guys. But they came with these cassette tapes with like songs and like just nonsense spoken comedy bits. And one of them had, or like between songs, they would do these like riddle things. And one of them was, what is the difference between a troll and someone was like, well, what? And the response was, one of its legs are both the same. And everyone just kind of makes a confused noise and moves on with themselves. But that reminded me of that.
I actually quite like that a lot.
Yeah.
One of its legs are both the same.
One of its legs are both the same.
Yeah. I gotta find that one. Well, the games were I remember them being kind of fun, honestly. They were relatively well thought out for games for children, and the tapes were fun to listen to as well. Squelch was the name of the game that I had. That came with the tape that included the line I just quoted.
Hell yeah. Squelch is a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That's
fuck,
all.
I guess we got to get on to our questions, so.
Yep.
We
The only question for Gabriel Knight tonight
Philip carrying the team.
was Philip. VIP King of the Castle. Philip.
Running uncontested.
Running uncontested. In 2026, people just aren't curious anymore. You know, I get it. I understand. I get it. You know. So, Philip asks. This is a good one. This could take a while. Do you have a hot take for some adventure games? For example, Philip's hot take is, I think Sam & Max is a game of amazing animations and humor, but as a game, it's mediocre due to its puzzles. Hot take. Hot take. So, do any of us have hot takes for any adventure games or a series of adventure games? Doesn't have to be Sierra, although I'm sure there are a lot of hot takes about Sierra that we could think of. Julia, when you were working on this, did you have any thoughts about Sierra games that you were like, yeah, I definitely need to not do this because this is something I hate. Even if it's something people like, this is something I hate that I wanted to change.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. I mean, namely, I will say it was just how easy it was to die in Sierra games. And that's just me, because I know some people find that stuff really funny and like they like that as a thing in their adventure games. But I as a kid, it terrified me. I did not like it. So yeah, super easy deaths in Sierra games. I was like, I never cared for them. I mean, I don't know if that's a hot take. It's just something that I was scared of.
It kind of is. Like, I think that like part of the charm of the Sierra games were that it was so easy to die.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the only way to truly learn in a lot of Sierra games was to die horribly. So at least they tried to make it entertaining.
It was sort of a reward was to see a death.
Yeah,
the reward of fucking around was finding out.
I guess I was such a keener kid that any type of failure, I felt like just, horrible sadness. But no, I can see it from a game design perspective, because especially nowadays where everything's kind of got guardrails on it and they don't let you do stupid things like that because, to make things a bit of a smoother ride. And now as an adult, I definitely can appreciate the fact that, yeah, you can just walk right off a cliff in a Sierra game. I think it is funny now, but at the time I did not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a non-hot take would be like Dead Man Walking sucks. Of course it does.
Yeah, of course it
Everybody
does.
hates that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, but a hot take is easy death. It sucks. Like, it's a warm take at least.
Yeah, it's a warm take. Although I would never do it in my game. Like I would never have it be so easy to die.
Yeah.
Well, I know.
I think easy deaths are fun if there's an easy recovery from it,
which
like,
they didn't have at the time.
Exactly. Like I think there's lots of reasons to criticize King's Quest VII, but the fact that they kept King's Questian deaths in it, but then we're like, would you like to now just rewind to the beginning of this scene where you're not going to die? I think that was a good choice, and it worked out quite well for the game because it was like, yeah, you could fuck up and you could see the deaths and stuff like that. And also it was one of the Sierra games that actually had interesting deaths to witness, because there were some where it's like every death was just like, your character kind of like slumped over and then it was a screen and it was the same image every time and stuff like that. Like, there were definitely Sierra games out there that didn't have, Laura Bow being cut in half and falling apart like a cake, like.
Yeah. Which is beautiful. Yeah. I do want to amend my response to this because, in the latter part of the Crimson Diamond, it is easy to die, but I did that on purpose because this idea of this ratcheting up of tension and drama and danger, specifically for only the last part of the game, but not at the start.
Yeah.
You were doing autosaves and stuff.
That too.
Though,
yeah.
Like I think you had a safe recovery or nothing is more frustrating in any game really that has death when you lose a bunch of progress because you made a slight blunder of some kind.
There's also a difference between, like, when I'm playing D&D, there are some aspects of a campaign that I don't necessarily enjoy. I don't always exclude those things when I'm running a game. Because some people do enjoy them, but also just because it's not my favorite part of a D&D campaign doesn't mean I don't know how to use it effectively or appropriately.
Yeah. 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 All right, Luke, you got to have a hot take on an adventure game.
Sure. I think, honestly, a lot of my Sierra-related hot takes come from having done this show for the number of years that we've been doing it. I don't think I would have, prior to our playthrough of King's Quest, considered Alexander to be just a non-person, like milquetoast waste of space and I don't know if that came from like all of us just sort of witnessing it together and I also wonder sometimes if the way that we read the lines and stuff like that, although I think King's Quest 6 we played with the original voice acting, well, not the original voice, but the Sierra voice acting, so it wasn't a Jake Ryan kind of situation where, it's hard to tell if Jake Ryan was that way or if that's just the way Jake Ryan feels because Matt read him that way. Although I think it's been canonized, sadly. But Alexander really, now I think my hot take is I agree after having played King's Quest 6 and 3 with the NPCs that Alexander is kind of a really weak protagonist and probably the weakest protagonist of the King's Quest series.
Well, I'll add on to that I think almost all Sierra protagonists up to a certain point. Obviously there are some very glaring differences here, but almost all Sierra protagonists are spiritually blonde white men. Some of them are actually white blonde men. But it's some of them like but Alexander is definitely spiritually a blonde white man. He is definitely that. And so is Graham. Rosella's got a little spice to her.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, honestly, I think probably when it all comes down to it, Rosella is the strongest King's Quest protagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. They definitely
I think you could make a solid argument in favor of that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, like, Sonny Bonds is literally a blonde white man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Roger Wilco, while he is slightly funnier and has worse luck, is just still that guy. He's just that. He does get a little bit of a pass for, you know, the situations he finds himself in, but and he's stupider, which I think goes a long way.
And more cowardly, I guess, because I was just thinking,
cowardly.
Like, if Graham was in a space quest, that space quest setting, like you were saying, like, if he was in that context, like, how would Graham, like, act, or how would Alexander act? And it's just, like, maybe they would be funny, too, in their reactions, just because it's a comical situation.
Yeah. But, like, write me a page on Sonny Bond's personality. You can't do it. You can't do it. And I think part of that, some of that is done on purpose because, you know, you want to play him. But some of that is
I think you could do it, but I don't think it would be flattering.
I also don't, you'd have to make some stuff up.
Make some stuff up.
You know.
Like, I think you'd find more to like in a sort of essay describing fucking Doom Guy's personality from the Doom games.
Yeah. Yeah, like when Sonny is made to dress up like, what's his name, Whitey?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, Whitey.
Whitey. How does Sonny feel about that? Do we even know?
Vaguely annoyed, just like how he feels when his friend confides about him about his daughter's drug problems.
Yeah.
He feels vaguely annoyed.
Yeah. It is very, I'm a cop in the 80s and I'm not allowed to have overt feelings about anything.
Yeah,
I'm a man in the 80s. Yeah.
Is a similarly codenamed Iceman's protagonist. It's just also...
God.
I don't know anything about him.
What a fucking piece of white paper that guy is. What a fucking slice of bread. Like, that
is such an interesting. That's such a good hot take. That there's a conspicuous whiteness to the Sierra protagonists.
Oh yeah, yeah, and like it is such a. I mean,
it was not surprising.
No.
Right?
No, like I don't even believe it's that hot a take. I think it is actually just hindsight looking back, and it's so white. I mean, it was written.
There's an extent to which this is sort of true of protagonists. Not all protagonists everywhere, but more and more in media, it does kind of get very like the push for better representation is relatively modern.
Yeah. Like, even fucking Jared from fucking Gold Rush.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah.
Like, I guess he sells his house and immediately drops everything, drops his life to go and look for gold, which I guess is somewhat, exciting.
But how does he feel about that? Does he seem excited
too? How does he feel about that?
I mean, to be fair about the Gold Rush game, this was before Sierra was really exploring adventure games as a narrative device, you know? Like, there was definitely a story involved there, but what it really came down to was banker drops his cushy bankering job to, track down his brother because his brother struck gold and offered to give him, a part of the gold stake. And so, guy whose main thing is dealing with money to begin with, wants more money, so goes west, you know?
There's that whiteness again.
Yeah, if you go back old enough in video games, like how does Pac-Man feel about his life in the maze? Hungry? Right? Like Pac-Man doesn't necessarily feel any kind of way about it. That's just the nature of his universe. One time Matt and I were out at Little Harbor looking off a concrete pier, and the sort of lights, it's a very cool place to stand because there's like lights for like to illuminate the dock, and then it's just darkness. So it's this true like circle of light in a void, and we're looking down at the crabs in the shallow water. And I pointed out a crab and I said, look at him. That's his entire world down there. That's like all he's got. And Matt said, you only feel that way because you're one of you. If you were one of him, you'd have everything down there. Right? You'd be living a full life, right? Like that's such an incredible place to be a crab. You just don't appreciate it because you're not a crab. I think that's how Pac-Man feels in his Pac-Man maze.
Yeah.
I don't think he has any other frame of reference other than being in that maze, avoiding ghosts and eating balls. I think he's about as contented as a creature can be.
Well, fair enough that you don't get a lot of characterization, if any, with Pac-Man, but that's like, in contrast to something like Gold Rush, where there is actually plenty of opportunity to actually describe like the inner feelings of the characters because of all the writing that's happening in that game. I can get why they didn't, because as Luke said, that's not what they were going for, but it's not like it was impossible to do that. It could actually have been done quite easily.
And there is some of that in Gold Rush, to be fair. Like there is, like, I think there's a couple times where it's mentioned that, you get like nostalgic looking back on things,
right?
Or, you get like
you look at your parents' picture and something.
Yeah, like I really do feel like Gold Rush. I know we're picking on that. Really, it's like Police Quest is the one. But like, yeah.
Well, he has feelings. Like Sonny Bonds is racist. Those are feelings.
Racism is a feeling.
Yeah.
I have a shirt that says that. Don't.
I think that is a good point, Julia, in that the game has text, right? Text can convey emotion, right? Yeah. There's like books exist, right? So I think to some extent, Gold Rush is so early in its particular genre that I think they were still figuring out the best ways to do that. So there's some amnesty to be got from that, but yeah.
And additionally, like a lot of these characters are supposed to be player insert characters, right? And so you look at something like, especially something like Quest for Glory, where you're kind of building that character. That's why he has no personality, is because you're supposed to kind of put yourself in that and project your own stuff on him. So I can understand why it wasn't so much of a thing like on those early games, for sure. I'm just saying that there could have been.
Yeah, and there could have been.
Like Bobbin Threadbare has personality, he is a.
I think you got a lot more personality in the LucasArts games in general.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Because I mean, like they were going for comedy, so like comedy is characters for the most part.
Also,
whereas
the way the information was disseminated in a LucasArts game versus Sierra game is LucasArts games did not have a third person narrator. If Bobbin Threadbare was looking at something, he was going to describe to you what he saw, and so that's going to give you more opportunity to characterize him. Whereas, with Sierra, it's like that invisible narrator is telling you stuff.
Yeah, honestly, like until Space Quest 4-ish, Roger Wilco barely had a personality to speak of. And the rest of, like, most of the actual, like, interaction that you were having with any sort of, like, sentient character was the narrator, who was, like, calling you a dumbass and stuff like that. But it was more like, you are Roger Wilco and you are kind of also awful, as opposed to like Roger Wilco is this third party that you just happen to omnipotently control.
He started out a bit kind of like Arthur Dent in Hitchhiker's Guide, where he was just, it's funny that things happen to him, but his actual agency in those events was pretty limited.
Yeah, I mean, the one sort of defining characteristic of Roger Wilco was that he was a lazy guy who managed to escape certain death because he was taking a nap in a janitor's closet, right? But beyond that. Like, you didn't get a whole lot of, like, Roger didn't talk for the first 3 games, basically, you know? So, whereas from the EGA era, you know, Bobbin Threadbare and Guybrush Threepwood and so on were all like talking. Like, there was no narrator, or like there was very, very rarely was there any sort of narration. And it was all like, when you looked at a thing, the character comments on that thing in their voice in a weird way, because, like, you know, they're talking to you, the player, and describing the thing you asked them to look at. But yeah, you got a lot more comedy out of the characters because the characters were your main point of reference.
Yep, that's true.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
Hot takes, Alex, on adventure games?
Sort of. So a precursor to the hot take, and Matt will know this well from conversations with me. To me, there's a very important difference between the things that I like and the things that are good, and between the things that I don't like and the things that are bad. I really try not to assert that the things I don't like are bad. And there's many pieces of flawed media that I love. I don't love them ironically. Like, I genuinely love Krull. Krull is a very flawed piece of media. I like it in some ways because of its flaws, and not ironically. But it's not. I'm not saying that it is a good movie. Only that there is much to love about it. And so similarly, when I say I don't like something, I'm not critiquing that thing. I say that because my hot take on adventure games is that I can't really honestly say that I like adventure games.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think as a kid, I helped my sister beat one of the Freddy Fish games. I'll play Freddy Fish. It's the only adventure game I can recall maybe having seen the end of, like, left to my own devices. And it was genuinely because, like, I was able to look up how to do things, and my sister was getting frustrated with it, and I just helped her get to the end of one of the Freddy Fish games. And I don't think I've ever finished another adventure game. I think I would load them up, click around, and be like, nah, I don't get it, and I'd turn it off again.
Right. That's so fair. So, like, I guess, like, my very first ever interaction with an adventure game was I was over at friends of my parents' house, and their kids had King's Quest 2 on their computer, and they said that I could play it, and I sat down and I moved Graham around, and they're like, just type, he'll do whatever. And I cannot tell you how that blew my mind when I was a kid. I didn't know that existed. I didn't know this was a thing. So being able to sit down and just type poop and have a response that wasn't I don't understand, was like, it blew my mind. Or like look under the bed, or like it was actual fucking magic to me. Like and that, like, obviously now I understand what it is, but I got such a short amount of time to play it that I didn't stop thinking about that for weeks and years, even, until I got to play adventure games again. And to me, that it was like magic, because no other game had I, up to that point, especially in, like, God, when was that? When did King's Quest 2 come out? Something ridiculous.
King's Quest 2? Long time ago, yeah.
Yeah. It was in the 80s, right? Like, it was
1985.
Yeah. In 1985, we had an Atari. So for like, to be able to sit down, I didn't even have a Nintendo, right, at that point. Like, to be able to sit down and in a video game and move around and do whatever blew my mind. Now, I didn't know you couldn't do just anything, but at the time it really felt like you could. It was magic. It was pure magic. And that's...
All games kind of aspire to give you that illusion of freedom. There are always ultimately limits on what you can or can't do, but games become more complicated as players expect to push those limits more. But an earlier game, anything that you could do was kind of a marvelous little discovery.
Absolutely. And I think, like, I was born at the right time. And my very first experience with adventure games was perfect enough for me to be like, I am all about this. But also, I was a kid who, like, when I discovered Choose Your Own Adventure books, I nearly died. I was like, how is this? This is amazing. Why is not every book this? Why do I have to listen to someone else's adventures? This is so much cooler. And I was obsessed with Choose Your Own Adventure books. And an adventure game is just that. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
I definitely did like Choose Your Own Adventure books, and like an adventure game as a sort of computerized Choose Your Own Adventure narrative. Like it's a compelling, like the one is kind of the first step towards the other, right?
Yeah.
So like to clarify, like the thing that I love about adventure games is Matt, Julia, Luke, and the PCs. Right, that's the main thing that I love about adventure games.
For sure.
And I'm not saying that I don't like things about those adventure games. I loved the solid murder mystery of like A Crimson Diamond, and like it's sort of the loving sort of spiritual successor to like Colonel's Bequest and the other Laura Bow game, Dagger of Amon-Ra. Right, like. I appreciate that stuff. And the kid that loved Choose Your Own Adventure novels and like child sleuth novels. God, I don't know how many like child sleuth novels I read as a kid. But for whatever reason, the medium of adventure games, I had sort of the opposite experience of Matt, whereas I would sit down and I would type in some stuff and then I'd be looking at a screen and there's a little man whose face mostly consists of a nose and hair. And I'm typing in every word I can think of. Touch door, fondle door, open door, slam face against door until dead. Like just really try, like I just can't find, it's not letting me do the thing that I want it to do. And I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And I'm unwilling to look it up. And then I turn it off. That was sort of my experience with adventure games as a kid.
Like, totally. And for the record, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that I think your first experience with adventure games and mine may have had a lot to do with how we feel about adventure games.
Yeah, like I played that and oh fuck. There's a game where you're a raptor with guns. You're a raptor. You're a time traveling raptor with guns.
Huh.
Fuck. I'm the only
An adventure game?
It's a bad shooter game. And only myself and my sibling Nat have played it. And I'm not going to remember the name, and that's going to kill me. But I played that around the same time as the first adventure games that I played. And it's just sort of like that. Matt is correct in that colors your impression somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My first experience with adventure games probably was either the original Monkey Island or Quest for Glory. I think my first actual experience with it was King's Quest 2, watching a friend die a lot trying to get through the bramble maze on the way to the castle on that island. But yeah, I was like, okay, this doesn't look that fun. But yeah, I think that actually leads to something of a semi-hot take, maybe, about adventure games that I have, which is like too many adventure games assume that you are going to be interested in trying to uncover their plot.
Yeah.
Like especially a lot of like modern adventure games, they're just like, okay, here's the thing. Good luck finding the thing that we want you to do that's going to like engage you. You know, here's a locked door puzzle. Good, you know, like I do. Like if I had to name like how many adventure games I have turned off because I launched them for the first time and it was a locked door puzzle and no reason for me to want to engage with the plot.
Yeah.
Like, okay. you're not even allowing me to like explore. You have literally locked me in this room. And it's not an interesting room and you haven't given me any reason to care. You know?
Yeah, totally.
Like just because you're an adventure game, I'm going to buy your game and I am going to not refund it when I realize that you started the game with a locked door puzzle and no reason to engage with your plot. But I'm probably not going to continue playing it. Also, like, since I'm ranting a little bit about like things that I think are poorly done in most modern adventure games, a lot of people like, for some reason I don't fully understand, making like kind of annoying protagonists that everybody vocally hates, and it like basically fundamentally misunderstanding what made Guybrush Threepwood a good hero. And so they're like, oh, everybody kind of made fun of Guybrush Threepwood, so like that's what makes an adventure game funny. And I think that is a gross misunderstanding of what made Guybrush Threepwood fun to play.
They tried to bottle it up and apply it as a template.
Yeah. This is a common sin of European adventure games, I find. Like, there's your hot take. Like Germany makes a whole lot of adventure games, and I haven't liked many of them at all.
There's an element here that
has yet to make an adventure game that I've really liked.
There's an element here that you've reminded me of there, Luke. In a choose your own adventure game, you cannot be stuck. You make it tells you what the choices are, and then you choose one. And then you live or die or win or lose or whatever. There's an ending of sorts. You can't be stuck there. There's a few different DMing philosophies for you running an adventure game. You can run a story on rails, and I don't necessarily mind that. As a player, after a long week, I don't mind knowing what to do, right? I appreciate being able to put my own flair on it. I definitely like an open sandbox when we're allowed to do whatever. Luke is the ultimate, most chaotic sandbox version because he doesn't care at all if what you chose to do was survivable or fair. If you say you do something, that is what happens next, and you must live with that, which is an awesome responsibility in a very exciting game. Some DMs will do what Matt and I refer to as the hidden rails thing, where it's on rails, but those rails are secret. And you have to figure out where the rails are so that you can follow them. And I have no fucking time for that.
Yeah, and anything you do that isn't getting you to those rails is punished.
Yeah, it's punished at best with boredom.
Yeah, at best. Yeah. So...
And it's a thing that sometimes inexperienced DMs will do where they'll have a plan, they won't deviate from it, but they're worried that the story will be over too fast if they tell you what the plan is, right? So they're sort of like, it's an expectation that other people will think like I do and make the decisions that I would make, and I don't care what other players would think. So I actually appreciate in an adventure game, and Julia has done this with like Crimson Diamond too, where you'll click on something and that isn't the answer, but the game will explain why it's not the answer. It'll be like, no, good thinking, but no, that's not it. Right? It'll at least acknowledge that you made a logical choice. So you don't feel stuck. You still feel like you're doing stuff. So like I like a game that is a bit open and lets me do whatever, and like Minecraft. Minecraft lets you cause your own problems and then solve them. I appreciate a game like that. I also don't necessarily mind a game where there's only one thing you can do as long as it tells you what to do. I liked Jedi Knight Academy for that reason. You know where you're very rarely lost. You know what you're supposed to be fucking doing at every moment in time, and you just do some cool lightsaber moves on the way. But there's an element where like one of the worst things a game can do is like tell a story at me. So if I'm in like a sandbox experience, I don't mind a story that is discoverable. But if the story is like mandatory and the people like whoever's making this fantasy setting expects me to care about their particular take on elves, no. Like I'm here to play the cool video game. I don't care why you think your elves are more interesting than normal elves. I'll decide if I care about that when the game is over. Anyway, adventure games, the older ones, kind of hit the wrong section of overlap on that, where there's kind of one way forward. You have to poke around to figure out where it is. And the main reward is that you figure out about this story, which from the get-go, I didn't necessarily promise to care about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of adventure games seem to fail to reward experimentation, and don't put nearly enough effort into engaging you with their story and giving you a reason to give a shit, and two, explaining what you're supposed to do. Like if I run into a point where I'm like, okay, I think I've tried everything, nothing is happening, I cannot advance the plot. You haven't even told me what I need to do. I recently replayed Curse of Monkey Island, the third Monkey Island game, and my favorite of the series. And I was playing it to understand how they structured the puzzles and stuff like that. I've been playing a lot of old point and clicks that I really liked to get a feel for those kinds of things. And I think one of the reasons why Curse of Monkey Island is one of my favorites, and maybe a reason a lot of people might cite as something that they like less, is the puzzles were not that hard, but they weren't that hard in many cases because the game was very explicit, even though in some cases it was cleverly hinted about what the solution to the puzzle was. Almost every single puzzle has told you by the time you get to that puzzle how to do it. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that that's a big problem with a lot of amateur adventure game design. Doesn't do nearly enough to like tell you the solution to the puzzles that they're going to put in front of you, and then like make sure that you can find that solution again if you didn't catch it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I went through some dialogues, and there's absolutely some throwaway shit in Monkey Island. But if you go back to a conversation and you see that there's a question you can ask again, and it still gives you the same dumb response, it's like, oh, that's and like I know because I played the game often enough or enough times to know exactly what the like solution ultimately was. So I can point a direct line between what is said in this line and the solution to a puzzle somewhere else in the game. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I totally
But expecting me to give a shit about your game when the first thing you do is lock me in a room with no reason to care? Yeah. I'm probably going to peace out pretty quick.
I feel very much the same when it comes to like to D&D. If I make a character and then you immediately throw me into combat, I'm like, just kill me. I don't care about this guy. I don't give a fuck. Thank you.
I don't have any motives.
I have no motives for this guy. You didn't let me get to know him. I'm immediately combat. Just slit it. I'm gonna slit my own throat.
I run away. Shrug. Yeah. Like that's the normal thing to do.
Yeah. That's what I think of your game.
First thing is combat. I have nothing other than self-preservation. All I have is my existence. Why would I finish this fight? I don't have. there's nothing to motivate me to fight for this. Right?
Exactly. Bitch, I have video games if that's what I want. Come on. Like, don't do this to me. Anyway, yeah.
I do, so many elements of so many of the games that we played I've liked very much. I was actually very impressed by the ambitious design of the Quest for Glory series and the way that it would sort of like carry over. That's ambitious. It did, the last one did kind of suffer from kind of like the Mass Effect 3 element where they've got a lot of stories to bring together and they just can't have an exponentially huge number of endings, right? Because like the wilder the choice you make, the less it can matter in the next plot, because the farther the consequences reach, the less they can branch or your game becomes infinitely expensive. But like, I was very impressed because there's something about like having played the previous game that makes the next game more rewarding in more than the usual way. Which I think makes it just a very cool piece of like video game history. I didn't play it when I was younger, but it is possible that kind of thing might have, because it felt a little more open than some other adventure games did.
I mean, at the end of the day, Quest for Glory is an RPG series with adventure game mechanics. Really.
Yeah,
that might be the thing too, is that like Laura Bow doesn't really level up as you go. She has the skills that she has, and they are the skills that you have.
Yeah, I mean, Quest for Glory is a sandbox, really. Like, you've got a fairly linear plot, generally speaking. But I mean, like, Quest for Glory 1, as long as you go and defeat the bandits, that's the only thing you have to do to finish the game, right? Like, and there's a bunch of optional content in there that'll help you level up, and it'll give you a little bit more like context, and will probably give you a better ending. But like, you can absolutely just storm the bandit camp. You're likely to die if you haven't powered yourself up a little bit, but you can go in there and you can, you can get yourself killed by the bandit leader, because there is a certain number of things that you have to do there in order to like win it. But like, there are a lot of things that you don't have to do to finish a Quest for Glory game. And also, like, you get to choose how you approach those things. Typically, it's, choose between one of 3 classes, prescribed solutions to those things. But I think that the game design of the Quest for Glory series was amazing. It was some of the best game design of its era, probably.
It let you decide who you were and how that person solves problems.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, like within a limited range. Like control is always an illusion anywhere in reality, in human experience. Control is always an illusion. But
it would still like instantly end your game if you did something that was too far out of the realm of what a hero is supposed to do.
Yeah, and there were still wrong answers where it's just there's no way forward past this point, or like things that weren't available if you made certain decisions, like in every RPG.
Yeah.
I have a hot take about adventure games. I think Manhunter is exceptional.
Yeah?
Like, actually, truly exceptional. And I'll tell you why. And I think, actually, once you hear my reasoning, it's not so hot of a take. But I really think that that game is so terrible. It's so unnecessarily hard. It's hard to look at sometimes. It's difficult to it's mean-spirited and gross.
It's cynical and gross.
It kind of doesn't make any sense if you really think about it. So for the fact, like, I know nostalgia's a hell of a drug, but for Manhunter to make it to 2026 as a Sierra classic when so many have fallen by the wayside really is a testament to the world building, and I think how gross it looks and how gross it feels to play is one of its greatest features. I really think that it's like, I have fond memories of watching you fail over and over again in that alley, trying to get that, even though that was maybe one of the worst things to ever happen in a video game. Like, absolutely, like, and like some of the graphics, man, I don't know, like, whoa, woof. And
my favorite episode of Sierra Saturday, tangentially, is A Horse with No Code Name, where Luke is crashing a submarine 1,000 times while Matt and Andrew sing A Horse with No Name.
Yes.
I think it's the greatest piece of media ever uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah, well, thank you. We appreciate that.
What I'm mostly hearing is the highlights of our show is when I am repeatedly failing a thing, but still doing it to success eventually, while being, a little bit frustrated.
But sometimes that's amazing, and sometimes it's exactly what you think. Like you defeating the Black Knight in Quest for Camelot. Like, it was fine. It's fine. You were doing your best. Like, it's nothing you were doing. You were killing it. We were all very supportive, and it's just sometimes it's magical. But really, what I think, like, the stupid characters in their fucking red heart underwear with the brown robes and the shadowed faces, weirdly iconic. Like. The fucking baffling color choices that they would make in some of those screens, the way it just feels disgusting. It's got a very unique vibe to a Sierra game, and that's why I think, so my hot take is that it's actually kind of a great game because of that, even though let's be honest, Manhunter kind of sucks. But yeah. Yeah,
I think that Manhunter has a lot going for it.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a lot of very what's the word? Clever design that is hard to notice because it is also so baffling a lot of the time. Like, I know that in a world where I would have been a lot more patient and taken notes and really watch, like, Manhunter just expects you to either rewatch and very carefully trace the steps of, like, the mad recordings in order to successfully, like, navigate the game. And that is a drag. That's a big fucking drag. Yeah. Honestly, because we're doing a YouTube show here, like, me stopping and watching a mad recording 8 times and taking notes is not going to be fun to watch. It's more fun to watch me just blow up 1,000 times, because that's at least comedy. But, like, there was some clever shit in there, and there are some things that, like, if you go back and you kind of rewatch and you like in retrospect understand what they were doing, there's a lot of cool stuff there, especially in, like, Manhunter 2, in San Francisco, where they'd really kind of gotten their feet underneath them. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Guybrush Taylor does with Manhunter Toronto. Toronto.
Yeah.
I think they just released posted on the 8th, 2 days ago, work in progress to the Critics Lounge channel, the Discord channel. That's so good. For Adventure Game Studio. So it's looking up at a bridge of some kind, which I assume is relatively iconic, but I don't know it because I don't know Toronto. But
Something related to Manhunter, and I won't put this at Manhunter's feet because I think because Manhunter has those kinds of weird sequences that you have to do that is all throughout the game, I think it's fair for them to just continue to have weird sequences in the game. This is a very not hot take whatsoever. I think everyone agrees with this, so I don't even know why I'm saying it, but and they used to do this, and they don't do this anymore because we all learned better. But the arcade sequences in games where there's only an arcade sequence at the very end of an adventure game, I think is so cruel because you have a person who plays, I like adventure games, I'm going to buy this adventure game and play it, and then you're not letting them finish the game unless they overcome an arcade sequence at the end, which is not the style of gameplay that they bought into.
No.
Yeah, I think arcade sequences don't belong in point-and-click adventure games.
No, and I don't think they do them anymore because, yeah, like I said, we all kind of like learned that lesson. And it's funny because even back in the day, like, do you remember they used to put the arcade sequences on their own discs sometimes because they thought that this was the hot stuff?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's because I've been streaming like a lot of stuff, and like Heart of China and Rise of the Dragon have some of like the worst arcade sequences I have ever experienced. Like, to be fair, they let you skip those because I think they knew better. But that was not an option in all of these kinds of games. And I just feel like it's so unfair because even if you have like a walkthrough, like if you cannot get through this skimmer sequence in Space Quest, like you're just never going to finish that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think Space Quest, maybe not Space Quest 1 VGA. They might not have allowed you to just skip it. But I feel like a lot of the adventure games after a certain time, year threshold would go like, do you want to just skip this arcade sequence? But if they like made the game to allow you to skip an arcade sequence, my question is, why did you bother putting the development resources into this entirely skippable, entirely pointless like arcade sequence when that's not what people are buying this game for in the first place?
Not a hot take, but I wanted to just throw that out there as just horrible practice.
Yeah, action sequences in point-and-click adventure games are really weird. And you could absolutely do an action sequence in a point-and-click adventure game that is still consistent with the rest of the gameplay of the game,
The worst arcade sequence I personally have ever seen is in Force Unleashed.
Oh.
pulling the Star Destroyer out of the sky.
Yeah.
It won't show you how to do it or tell you how to do it.
Oh.
I was probably at that shit for half an hour.
Huh.
And it's supposed to be this big climactic moment of the game. Let me tell you, if the designers of that sequence came up to me and personally apologized, I wouldn't forgive them. Like, I would count to 20. And if I could still see them when I hit 20, I don't know what would happen. I would basically when I hit 20, it's so important for both of us that I can't see you anymore.
Yeah.
So they're still out there fucking those up. That's still
happens. Geez, that's incredible and sad.
What? Do you guys have any hot takes on video games in general?
A lot of hot takes on video games in general. Some of them probably not dirty laundry I need to air today.
Big one for me is don't tell a story at me. Oh God. Like, have a story that I can discover, that's fine. Right? But like, I just don't promise to give a shit about your take on elves. Oh boy, there's no faster way to alienate me.
Yeah.
And my hot take, I think I've even talked about this before, and I don't think this is a particularly hot take, but don't make your dialogue boxes on timers without the option for me to just clear them of my own accord, because you're holding me hostage, and I don't take kindly to that.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Good text box design is huge.
So you can't get out of it? You can't close it?
Basically, like, I want this box to stay up as long as I want it to be up. And
don't clear it without me
don't clear without me
it.
clearing it. It's ridiculous. Like, I mean, we see it here in Gabriel Knight. Like, Luke is terrified to miss lines of dialogue because you just don't know what's going to happen. And they still do that nowadays. I've seen modern games and adventure games do this. And I'm like, why are you doing this to us? Because haven't you played stuff like this and been annoyed?
That is another tech thing that I'm going to have to figure out for Mutants in Vegas as well, is because it has, like, AGS has a default speech length thing where it sort of arbitrarily, well, not arbitrarily, there's some math to it, displays lines on screen for a certain specific amount of time, and then clears the line, especially if you're doing quote-unquote LucasArts style dialogue. So I got to figure out how to, at least as an option, and I'll probably make it just an accessibility option, but like dialogue length, you know, do you want to let dialogue close itself, or do you want to have to click to advance?
I've heard the argument in favor of just having dialogue on timers being like, oh, well, then you miss the comic timing of the line, and it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, I also have done some stuff with, like, you know, take a beat where a character doesn't say anything.
And then
for a
you do a
moment,
line,
you know,
which it does give you timing in a way. Yeah.
But
that's
I mean,
not the same
like,
thing.
Yeah, I would still prefer to give players the ability to not miss a line.
Yeah.
You know, which I think is the bigger
It
issue.
Sucks.
Like,
it's awful.
If it's all comedic timing, then I'm not sure, like, you know, there should be some effort put in the writing as well, and you should care whether some.
It's kind of like related to this idea of, like, you know, video game cutscenes, and like if your whole game is like just a cutscene that people just have to watch, it's like, are you even making a game at this point?
Yeah.
The on the Game Boy Advance, the Pokemon games, the Fire Emblem games, they did text box very well. Text starts to fill at a reasonable speed. You press A, the text box fills the rest of the way.
That's great. Love it.
You read what you want. The little arrow indicates that you can go to the next text box. You press A, it goes to the next text box. You do it all again. You don't even have to think about it. You never accidentally skip shit.
That's actually like the opposite thing, but similar in terms of, like, I don't want to have to watch a typewriter typing each letter on screen painstakingly. Like, just let me finish that off if I want to.
I want it to type right out at, like, a reasonable speed, but I want to be able to skip it.
If you want to skip it.
I don't want to. I do, like, I don't want it to just appear. I do want it to type it out every time. I personally want that tiny little fix every time of telling the little typewriter noise to shut up. The typewriter noise is mandatory for me. I do need to spell it out slowly so that I can skip it. Otherwise, I'm not interested.
I see.
I guess that's my hot take. I thought everyone felt that way.
You want to be able to interrupt the typewriter.
For sure. I want the typewriter to happen, and I'm going to interrupt the typewriter every time. I'm never going to let it finish even once. The text box could just be no, and I'm still not going to let it get to that O. I'm going to cut it off every time, but it's important that it let me cut it off.
Yeah.
To clarify my stance on story in games, if I'm playing Skyrim or Fallout or something like that, I will probably discover that there's many parts of the story that I do like, right? But, like, that can't be the first thing about it that they expect me to be excited about, right? I don't need to get hit with a bunch of expository text.
Yeah, put me right in the game, but, you know, let me explore a little bit and start telling the story around me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind if there's a cutscene to start the game out with. I think that's probably a good idea, honestly. Like, give me a little bit of context as to what I'm supposed to do, you know? But then let me explore, let me kind of take things in and put a couple puzzles in front of me that don't require me to, like, you know, pixel hunt in a locked room for a while. I don't need that. I don't want that, you know?
Yeah, I think, like, establishing the world is a good thing. But yeah.
I like a discoverable narrative. I like lore that you can go and find and unlock and decide which parts you're excited about. The world would be a little empty if everything was happening for no reason.
Yeah.
This is a funny thing to say because, like, I did just say that Curse of Monkey Island is my favorite Monkey Island game, and it starts with a locked room puzzle, so, you know, it's a little hypocritical of me to say as much. I think game design wise and sort of on the whole, probably like Monkey Island 2 is the better game. I just prefer Monkey Island 3 for various reasons, not least of which being like it is one of the last like hand drawn adventure games that LucasArts did, you know. So
yeah. Well, there you go. That was a good question.
Yes.
Philip?
Yeah, that was a good
it's an
one.
excellent question.
Really, really good. Truly. Like, thumbs up. First prize.
Only prize.
You know what?
Yeah. Only one in the running.
You know what? We should give Philip a prize for being the only one to ask a question this week. We'll figure it out. We'll get back to you. I don't know what it's going to be. Well, we'll
give you one of these to tide you over.
Yeah.
It was a glorious question. He gets a question for glory.
That's a good reward system. You get the series specific jingle preceding all of the questions. And if we like your question, it gets a question for glory.
It's yeah. I mean, that's a prize for everyone because everybody gets to hear it. But yeah. But it was your question. Listen, guys, we're going to be doing this again in a few weeks. So just, I don't know.
Oh, like a mailbag.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
A mailbag.
Yeah.
A mailbag. Yeah, we're going to be doing a mailbag.
Yeah, two more weeks, maybe more, but for a mailbag, yes.
And I can't stress, your question doesn't have to be related to games at all.
No. It doesn't have to be about Sierra.
If it's about video games or adventure games or Sierra or things like that, we're likely to have informed opinions about them, but it is not a necessity by any right, as is evidenced with the Speakeasy Passwords. We can talk about lots of things.
Anything for any amount of time. Yeah.
We don't have to know about things to have an opinion about those things.
Right.
I'd like to...
That's what makes us goddamned Americans.
I'd like to talk
one
about...
thing none of us are.
I'd like to talk about nostalgia and its and what it does and how important it is to video games. Especially for us, because, man, we depend on that so much. God, that's our bread and butter. So, but as Alex can attest, you don't need it
to
enjoy this stuff. Like,
speaking of trips down memory lane, the game is Nanosaur.
Manosaur?
Nanosaur is the name.
What?
It's 1998. You were gifted a secondhand computer from your Uncle Art, and your cousin Devin has installed Nanosaur on this
Nanosaur.
machine. And you've never played, like, the last game you played personally was fucking Sopwith on MS-DOS. You load up a Macintosh, you load up a Macintosh computer with, like, colors, like more than just dark brown and light brown. And you load up a game, and that game is called Nanosaur. And you are a velociraptor from the future going to dinosaur times to steal velociraptor eggs. You have guns on your back. You are moving around in disorienting, nauseating 3D. Navigating impossible platforming sequences.
I'm looking at the dev studio's website.
Oh, no, I'm looking at screenshots, and it's madness.
There are Pangea Soft is the name of the studio.
I'm given to understand that Nanosaur was punishingly difficult, even if you do know how to navigate a 3D environment, but...
Nice.
Yeah,
if you go to PangeaSoft.net, Nanosaur is like the one thing. Although they say they have games for iOS, games for tvOS, games for macOS. Photo utilities, not sure what that's all about. But if you scroll down beyond there's Nanosaur, and you can look at
I'm not saying that Nanosaur was a good game. I never beat Nanosaur. I found it to be unplayably difficult because, again, like Sopwith. Sopwith and fucking Reader Rabbit were my experience with games up until that point. But it was sort of like, it was just one of those games. There was a big old library of adventure games on there. And much like Nanosaur, I didn't finish any of them. Nanosaur, at the least, it's not because I ever got stuck. It's just that I would die. You know, my time travel raptor would run out of time or life and die.
Or will to live.
Or will to live.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Don't get me started on timers. But like the nostalgia thing really hit this week when they announced the remake of Ocarina of Time. You know, I saw so many reactions of people bawling their eyes out for that, and I've always, like, my hot take is that Ocarina of Time is actually a little overrated, but it's still a great game. Yeah. Like, it's a Zelda game. It's fucking fantastic.
It's far from the top of a list of my favorite Zelda games. I actually, like, I didn't have an N64 when Zelda came out. I had an N64 before that. I sold it to play Final Fantasy VII. So I don't have the nostalgia for Ocarina of Time, but, like, I would like to see, like, it's already been remade once. So this is, I'm actually not sure. Is this the first game that's been remade twice?
Maybe.
In, like,
it can't
and
be.
not like, you know, it's the same, like, game in name, but, like, a completely different thing. Like, I'm imagining this is just going to be Ocarina of Time again. Unlike, you know, Fable or something like that, which was a completely different game before they remade it again, right? But yeah, if it's not, then it's in very small company. But, like, I would like to see Nintendo remake other Legend of Zelda games. Like, I want to see what they would do if they wanted to do a reimagining of, like, Adventure of Link, Zelda 2. The black sheep of the Zelda family, you know, that everybody dislikes because it was a platformer in a game series that basically never made another platformer. What would Zelda 2 have been like if they had made it more of an action RPG like what Zelda it now is, you know? I think it was an interesting plot. And there's plenty you could do with it. You know, it was the most RPG of all the Zeldas for a long time.
I think I know why they're doing Ocarina of Time. They're doing
Ocarina of Time because it's going to print money.
That's it's going to print money. Like, I know so many millennials who are like, I'm never buying a Switch 2, who have completely changed their tune now. They're like, well, I guess I need to get a Switch 2 now. I'm like, yeah, that's why they did it. That's why they did it. They did that specifically so you would buy a Switch 2. And I don't blame them, honestly. But, like, yeah, nostalgia. It's a hell of a drug. We can get into that next mailbag if we don't get any questions again, though. So,
yeah, or you can ask us specifically, like, which Legend of Zelda game would you remake? I answer is probably, like, Link to the Past.
Which video game in general? Which Sierra game would you remake? If you got the reins. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot there.
There's an aspect of Ocarina of Time in that certainly it's not the best Zelda game. And in the translation of the 2D elevation puzzles of Link to the Past into 3 dimensions, not all of the decisions that it made are good. And it did establish some conventions that followed Zelda around for a while that
absolutely.
were not necessarily good.
It's important.
That was a brave step to make, and there were a lot of choices that no one knew how to do properly.
Oh, yeah.
There's a story called The Monkey's Paw. It was written in 1902 by W.W. Jacobs. If you read The Monkey's Paw today, at first glance, it will sound like a horror story that you have heard before. And the reason is because you've read a lot of horror stories that came after it. And that story was itself inspired by older stories, but it's a classic ironic 3 wishes fable in which a person comes across an item that's going to grant 3 wishes, a monkey's paw with 3 extended fingers.
Oh, yeah.
If you put aside that, like, jadedness, that expectation of, you know, having watched fucking It Follows and like Talk to Me and horror movies like that. You set those things aside and really think about the fucking insidious, dastardly, and concise, ironic 3 wishes that they set up for that. If you really try to put yourself like, how would you spend those wishes differently? The insidious trap of the story is that the protagonist has to spend his 3rd wish to undo the 1st. That's how bad it is. The monkey's paw makes him spend his 3rd wish to undo the 1st wish, and he loses everything and gets nothing. And there's a lot of stories like that, but we owe them to the monkey's paw. And it's actually kind of hard to look at older stories like that and realize that like the reason this seems familiar is because it's where this comes from. This is where this is the thing to which we owe those other things.
No, and I think my only point is that a lot of people treat Ocarina of Time like it's Lord of the Rings for fantasy, and in some ways it is, but in other ways it's a little clunkier than that. But I think it's totally important. I think it's absolutely should be in the the pantheon of important games. I didn't say it's bad. Never once would I say that it's bad. What I'm saying is it's a little overrated. It's a little. There's a lot of pioneer games out there that are completely amazing, and I don't know if Ocarina of Time is one of them. I think this is a safe space to do that. I think most people here are the PCs are old enough to be like, yeah, I could see that. I mean, maybe they disagree, but like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to say this in a lot of places, like with people your age, Alex. Honestly.
Oh, I didn't play Ocarina of Time until the Nintendo Switch came out.
Right. Yeah.
Not the Nintendo Switch until the Nintendo Wii came out. Right, I played it on the GameCube, but well after the end of the GameCube's lifespan. I owned a copy of Ocarina of Time on N64, but I was a kid. I didn't understand how it worked. I didn't have anyone to explain how it worked, and I didn't play it. So I was well into my adulthood when I played Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. But a lot of people weren't. Like a lot of people your age, that's their Zelda.
Yeah. Like I agree a lot of the stuff that they tried didn't necessarily work. There were revolutionary games that sort of struck gold, and almost everything in that game worked and formed conventions for modern games. There's also games that just tried new shit and not an ounce of it worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt and I have fun sometimes hopping on Virtual Console and playing some just absolute like watery shit games. Like Iggy's Ball Adventure or whatever the fuck that was.
Iggy's. Yeah. What a classic. Classic piece of crap. I'm sure. But there's people out there that love Iggy's, I'm sure. There's gotta be. There's a reason they put it on there. And again, I think that we're coming back around to nostalgia there, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah. All right, kids, listen, stay in school, stick around for next time. We're really into you, and we love you very, very much. Very much.
Stick around and wait for the next episode, everybody.
We'll try real hard to make sure that we don't stay away as long, but
take another week or two off.
Listen, things happen.
In the meantime, don't worry. We're always with you. I'm living secretly somewhere in your home.
Yeah. And I just want you guys to remember that I've always been a part of your family.
If you check your photo album, Matt is in there somewhere.
Yep. If you're lucky, I'm just a second or third cousin. If you're lucky.
Sometimes it's an old black and white photograph where no one is smiling because that wasn't the convention of the day and because photographs took too long.
Yeah.
If you're unlucky, Matt is you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you're very
and
unlucky.
You don't exist.
Yeah.
And you look down at your hands in horror and confusion, and I turn to you from my desk at Silverback Studios, and you turn to me and say, I've got flesh stars on my top sticks.
Yeah. Yeah. I might be your mommy.
Ooh.
Think about that.
That's a hot take.
That's a hot take. All right, everybody. Listen, spend your time wisely. Try to stay out of trouble. And listen, don't like, I know I'm guilting y'all into asking a question, but don't feel like you have to. We'll figure it out anyway. You're going to get a mailbag one way or the other. These are enough trying times. You got enough on your fucking plate. You don't need an extra thing. You don't need a fucking extra thing. You know,
prioritize rest and community.
Yeah.
These are acts of defiance.
Exactly. Especially from us. We're supposed to be the ones who are there for you on your time off. This is something you choose to do. You choose to spend time with us. You don't need pressure from us. We should fuck right off with this question.
We should jump right up ourselves.
Yeah. We should. Jesus Christ. What were we even thinking? Anyway. Love you guys.
How dare you?
How dare us?
How dare we?
How dare we?
The nerve.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
The nerve.
See you next time.
Bye, everybody.
I love you. Bye.
It's been cool. It's been cool. I hated that. I don't know why. I said that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been emotional.
It's been emotional. It's been meaningful.